The one on Corning Street, Sabrina, I think you got that mislabeled. It says like parking lot edition. It's a geothermal
Oh,
project. The one on Corning
yes,
Street. Yeah. I got that in, and initially when I looked at it, I'm thinking, well, they're just drilling a well and they're digging a ditch, and it's not really affecting the house, and it shouldn't impact the yard, and it looks fine. But the location was pretty high up on a hill, and the hill drains right down to the Hudson River. And I'm thinking, well, the guy said it's a 400-foot well, and then I started to think, and then after I submitted, I went for my run, and then I realized, well, if he's drilling a 400-foot well and they keep pumping water in as they're drilling down and it's creating the slurry, I just started to imagine all the freaking mud running down Corning Street toward the Hudson River. So, and those are the kinds of things we got to look about. So then I just added the comments about, just to make sure they contain everything on site and to have a plan for disposal of the dirt. So otherwise, it looked like a nice little project. 400-foot deep well that they drill. It's a closed loop system. It'll replace the existing fossil fuel system they have, and they put heat pumps inside the house. So that was mine.
Okay.
Anybody? Who else wants to talk? Who else?
I have the Patricia Wind project, the market, which is
how was that?
very simple. It's just very simple. She just wants to do she has a distribution produce distribution center. So she's mainly just doing because she wants a office space, and that is going to be part like little tiny market. They're just not, it's just very simple. It's just a very not a complex business. They're not going to anything. I think I haven't done the report. I have to look into more detail of the land. Sorry, I haven't done my homework fully, but I don't think there's going to be any problem. It's
okay.
Just,
FY, if it was so, if I think their next meeting, or I think the public hearings are on the 17th, September 17th. So until what? Today's we're August. 13th. No, there's September.
Yeah. They are 4 days.
In 4 days. So by now, if you haven't submitted your report by now, it's a good chance they won't have it before the public hearing, unless you want to give it orally, unless you want to actually go to the planning board meeting and present it. But you can try to get it in as soon as you can.
Okay. So, I was going to ask about what was the deadline. And second, the planning board committee was supposed to be there and they didn't go.
Yeah.
They didn't show
they
up.
probably, I haven't had any luck really trying to coordinate with the planning board. They just like to schedule on their terms and change schedule on their terms, and they'll just tell us when they've scheduled, but they don't take us into any consideration as far as our availability. So
if I just interject, they were very good about the Ferncliff parking.
Good. And that was Edna, right? Edna and
Am I supposed to mention that they were there as well?
They're good. Well, you should put it in the report. I like to add that. I think that you should. I think the report, like in the sample says what planning board members were there, who was there based from the CAB, which planning board members were there, and who was there, who represents the project,
right?
And the name of the company that they work for. I think that's kind of stuff, which is like I said, that's the way the sample is set up.
Okay. Gabby,
okay, good.
Mark and I discussed before you came on the one that I went to, but I'll just fill you in quickly. The Ferncliff Forest Game Reserve has a pre-existing parking lot that they want to expand. They have hired a landscape architect who does seem to be very conservation minded and very conscious of the trees. That they seem to be going to considerable length in order to retain. In order to do so, they can't just expand laterally off the pre-existing parking lot. There'll be a drive connects one to the other, and that's
Okay.
large part to retain trees that are already extant.
Nice.
Additionally, they want to put what's called a bioswale in the center of the parking lot, which is basically an island that is like sort of, I guess, a lasagna-like strata. I guess a little bit like a hugel culture with trees planted in it, and that will help absorb runoff from the parking lot that otherwise would be draining in the direction of a wetlands that borders the parking lot.
Okay.
And what else did he say? Oh, the other benefit, which is not ecological, but more just to make it a little more civilized, the bioswale island will thwart people who want to use the parking lot just to do a quick U-turn, which apparently is something that there are a lot of complaints about, that idiots will pull rapidly into the parking lot, spin around, and peel out. So this will force them to have to go more slowly in order to make the sharp turns around the trees.
Is it asphalt or is it all stone?
Oh, it'll be all item 4.
Okay. Yeah. And
they're also putting perforated pipe into they're calling the pre-existing lot the meadow lot. The other one will be called the woodland lot. The woodland lot will have wrapped perforated pipes that will divert water to tree roots. Under
sounds like it's well thought out.
Yeah.
Just as George kind of wrote, he gave me a draft of his report, and when he explained how they were diverting water away from the wetland, and that would be a positive thing for the wetland, I just brought it to George's attention, and I'm just saying this because we should just we always have to be considerate of the wetlands. And one of the reasons the wetlands are wet is because water is going toward them and going to them.
Yeah.
So we always want to be conscious, if we're diverting water away from the existing course, what would those impacts might be, and do we think that might have a negative impact on the wetland? All this stuff, how close to the wetland is it? And is it within are they adding any of this parking within what they call the adjacent area? Is it within 100 feet of any wetland?
I don't believe obviously the one that borders it, the so-called meadow lot, where they're going to add that bioswale, that parking lot's shape would not change, save for the drive connecting it to the woodland lot. That woodland lot, I don't know for sure. I'd have to look at the plan, but I would theorize that it would be well more than 100 feet away from it.
Okay, usually their site plan should show the wetland delineation and the 100-foot line away from it.
You want me to grab it?
If you want to look at it, if you want. I mean,
just give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay.
Sure. And I'll keep talking to Gabby while he's away. I'm just bringing this up because wetlands is one of the things that are within our purview as a CAB. So we're not trained. I'm an engineer, so I have some understanding of the wetlands. And there is you read the zoning code. It's good to read the zoning code, and if you read on the DEC websites, and there's things like that. Cornell Cooperative might have stuff. Just on just general, wetlands and why you want to protect them, and just measures that are taken. But yeah, usually you don't want to drain a wetland, or you want to keep them wet. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And you want to keep any activity away from it. So there's a 100-foot buffer away from that wetland. So you really want to stay away from it, unless it's generally like a disturbed area already, and it really wouldn't impact it. But if it's not a disturbed area, and it's within that 100 feet, and they're putting in a parking lot, you want to think hard about, would that have impact?
Yeah, it does appear as if the drive connecting the two lots, sort of, I don't know if you can, how well you'll be able to see that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If I'm not on my boat and I'm actually at home in my computer, like we did the first time around, I can actually put those plans up on the screen.
Oh, right.
But from here, I'm on my phone. I can't do that. And I can't see.
Can't see that.
Wait a minute. Maybe if I put my glasses on, that helps a little. Okay, so I see that
That's
lot.
wetland. This is the pre-existing lot. Here's the drive to the new one.
So they don't show the 100 foot from the wetland at all. So it looks like it's all within that adjacent area to the wetland. So this is the new. So yeah, we just want to think about, yeah, and maybe, or at least acknowledge, that it's within that adjacent area, and whether that, do you think that area is it like kind of pristine, or is it like already somewhat disturbed where they're putting that new parking?
Well, it has a number, like I said, a number of, I don't know enough about trees to know if they should be considered old growth, but there are some sizable trees, every one of which they're retaining, save for a silver maple that has 3 leaders that are rather precarious looking and they theorize, pose a safety risk for anyone using that parking lot. So I believe, with the exception of that silver maple, all the other sizable trees are going to be retained.
What's the floor? What kind of floor covering? Like, what's the ground cover in that area?
Oh, it's just a strata of woodland leaves.
Yeah.
There's not much in the way of undergrowth.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a very large tulip poplar, a very large and very healthy ash tree. There's a big oak. And I believe they had the whole area staked out, but he stressed that the actual perimeter of the lot itself might change a little bit if it's to the advantage of retaining a tree. So he was really gung-ho about the safety of the older trees on the site.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it sounds interesting.
Yeah,
and it sounds potentially, yeah. I mean, it sounds like a positive thing, but just like when after I saw the well and the drilling of the geothermal, and I started to think about, well, these are the things that maybe could be negative impacts. As I said, take diverting water away from the wetland and building a parking lot within 100 feet of the wetland are certainly things to consider. And yeah.
And there was the archaeological component as well that I mentioned in the report about them retaining that hand-dug well from when there was a Methodist summer camp there, and they'll have some kind of plaque to give some background.
Right. Cole, you had one, right? Or didn't you?
Mine was a little while ago.
Okay. Oh yeah, you didn't have one this time.
Yeah, he spoke quite a while, but the other people who were there from the planning board were reluctant to venture much into the woods. One of them had some issue with spider webs, was freaking them out. And I guess maybe because of the age of the other two, they wanted to stay well away from everybody. So there was serious, like 30-foot social distancing.
Okay.
So we didn't really traipse much.
Did they seem supportive? Did they seem to like what they were seeing and hearing?
A lot of nodding. They didn't really say much of anything.
Gotcha. They're trained. They're good. They don't want to show their hands.
Right.
Okay, so those were the older projects, right? Did we cover all the ones that are on the agenda?
I think it was just 3.
Yeah.
3 old.
So what was referred to us now? One was a lot line adjustment, and I think I did take a look at it. It's like a tea house.
They had a lot line adjustment. You told me that it's not needed because it's a lot line adjustment. It's no big deal.
Well, that was one, but now we just got another one that was referred to us, right?
No, that's the one you've told me on 2 different occasions. One that we got in the past, and this one you emailed me back and said the lot line adjustment on the referrals. You said it's not needed because there's no big deal.
Okay, I thought they were sending us from the first one, but either way, I didn't think it was needed. I think as a group we decide whether we want to review the lot line adjustment. And last time we decided no, and I looked at it, they're very two large lots, and they're moving like 10 acres from like a 44-acre lot to make it like 55 acres. And there's like another one is like, oh, it might even be like 100 acres is the other lot. And it didn't seem like, I don't see how the, changing the lot line affects any environmental issues.
Yeah.
We decided not to review the other one. Do we agree not to review this one?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I think now we can pass it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes. So
There's-
well, my direction to Sabrina, which maybe been premature because I like to do it as a group, but yeah, we'll pass on the lot line adjustment just like we did the last one. So then we have something on Morton Street, which is like a canopy.
Before we get to Martin Street, we have Martin's the last name. It's on Rhinecliff Road. It's an addition, and that one, I believe. Hold on, let me think. Is going to be on September's 8th agenda for the planning board, and it's an addition on 298 Rhinecliff Road.
Okay. Now, and when I'm just kind of curious, when was that referred to us? That came to us
probably
in
like
August.
late
Hold
last
on.
week.
No, not that one. That one's an older one.
You know that there was 2 referrals. That was one of the earlier ones, but it seemed like it was like the first week of August.
I believe it was their first meeting in August. So shortly after.
So it just appears to me that, I mean, we have to we have to turn our report in a week before their meeting, and we only had maybe 30 days from the time it was referred to us to their meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to have 30 days.
This one was actually referred to us on July 23rd.
Oh, okay. I wanted to complain, but I can't. Okay, you set me straight. July 23rd.
So I
So
have
if it was
that Ferncliff parking lot thing in tomorrow.
Basically, yeah, I need to get it as soon as possible.
Yeah, okay.
Can you forward, when you send the report, CC me on it?
Yeah, I'll send it around to everybody.
Yeah, I think I would like that everybody who submits their reports CC all the CAB members, Sabrina and Gretchen, so that we all know that it's been submitted and we see what you submitted. We can all look at it and we can read it if we want.
Yeah.
We don't have to, but it's nice to just know what we're all doing.
So Sabrina, you're saying that my report is like it's not going to be valid?
No, she's saying get it in tomorrow.
Get it in as soon as possible because the public hearing is on Monday.
Okay.
So the sooner they get it, the sooner she can send it out to the board, so that way they can review it before the meeting, so it's not like the night of the meeting of getting it.
Often they've already kind of made a decision, or they've written a resolution. So if there's no issues at the public hearing and they close the public hearing, they could just vote on it right that night. So so on potentially on Monday, they could vote on it and it's done. Mm-hmm. So if they won't have the benefit of your report. That's all before they vote in on it. So that's why they ask for a week. And so like now we're talking about a project. See, the timing somehow is just not working out because if it's due on the 8th, like we're due earlier. It's due a week earlier than the 8th, by the 1st, September 1st. Yep. And where are we now? We're at the 13th. So that gives us like just about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
To do it.
Yeah. We have to have 30 days between when they refer to us to the public hearing. And for the main part, with the exception of a few, we do get 30 days from when she sends it.
Yeah, we're supposed to have 30 days, but we're just, we're not delegating out the projects as they are like referring them to us. We delegate them at our meeting.
So
And
should
we
we just
need
claim
Exactly.
them through email then?
Should we? Do we want to start claiming them through email as they're referred? And then we can just start on it? Or do we wait till our meeting? Because otherwise we're going to find ourselves like,
Because
Well,
for us to 2 meetings per month, I suggest that we do it through email because like they have 2 meetings before our next meeting.
yeah,
Right.
it's going fast. I agree that I think it's better if, as we see the project, whoever likes or is more interested about it, just take it. And whatever falls on the crack that nobody takes it, well, then we do push it in the meeting. But yeah, we need to
Yeah.
rush a little
yeah,
because they're going
otherwise
fast.
we're not going to have time because like the planning board's already been meeting on some of these projects and they've been reaching out to us and we haven't really even delegated them yet. And
Yeah.
so like for that, anything that's due on September 8th, well, August 1st, I'm going to have a hard time. I mean, I can try to get an
Yeah.
email out from the boat. I can probably do that, but I won't be I'll only have 1 week window to try to schedule my site visit with them.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. Does anybody? So which ones do we have that are due on September 8th? All of them?
Well, tomorrow, supposedly tomorrow, there is a site visit scheduled at 11 a.m. I don't know which project it is. Etna is doing it, right?
Pink
Sabrina?
Road.
The Pink Rose. That's the Morton Road, I think. The canopy.
Yes, that is 40 Morton Road. It is an entrance, and it's an addition and an entrance canopy.
Right. And Mark Rominski is the engineer. Does anybody think they can do that? That's
I can't make that tomorrow. I have a contractor I have to be here for.
Sure. Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
it was based on their scheduling. They never asked us what our availability is when they make these
Yeah.
site visits. And in fact, it was originally scheduled today, and then they rescheduled it last minute till tomorrow.
Yeah.
They just changed it. So we even
Yeah, I was very interested to just show up in that one, but I need to find somebody that can take care of my 3 kids at that time, and it's just
Right.
insane.
right.
So I'll try to see if there's, something that I can do, and if I do, I would just know, like tomorrow morning, I will let you guys know.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
if not, should we just let that one go?
you mean just not review it
Yeah, so it's a canopy.
to canopy?
It's an addition and a canopy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
So it's,
probably
Yeah.
would be. So how many projects do we have to delegate? 3?
I
3.
think it's 3.
Picnic shelter, an addition and an entrance canopy, and another addition.
And they're all
But
September 8th deadline, or September 1st kind of deadline?
the addition is earlier than that
Earlier, how could that be?
because it's
What
the ones with it was with the lot line adjustment that we got. It was the first one. Let me see when it is. I believe it's not their next meeting, but it's the meeting after that. Oh, so it might be the 8th.
That's the 8th.
No, this
Yeah.
one's actually supposed to be the 17th.
Of this month?
Yep.
Oh, well, there's no way we can do that then, right?
Yep.
That's Monday.
2 of them then.
Oh, really? 2 of them are Monday?
No, the addition's just the one Monday. The addition and entrance canopy for Pink Rose and Rhinecliff
Or on the
Fire
8th?
are both on the 8th.
Okay, well, all right. So whatever's due on Monday, forget it. We can't do it. Right? So we'll just have to, we can't review it. We just didn't have we didn't have a system that we could possibly respond to it at this month. So
Yeah,
hopefully
the crap.
now that we're going to just we'll start to pick up on when the referrals come out. We each, people got to chime in and like grab them, and hopefully that way we can get enough time. So the two that are due on the 8th is the Pink Rose, and which was the other one?
Rhinecliff Fire District wants a picnic shelter.
Oh, okay. Does anybody want them? I can.
So
I'll try the. What's that?
So it really needs to be by a site visit. Really needs to be next week then for that.
Yeah, would be.
I can take one. I could do like the
you'll be
one in
back.
Rhinecliff.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll do the fireman's picnic shelter.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll send out an email.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Good.
And the other one is an addition.
Yeah.
It's an addition and a canopy.
Oh, I thought that one was the one we just decided there wasn't a window for.
No, the regular edition. It's just an edition. This one has two different ones.
Okay. Where is this one?
The Pink Rose.
40
Morton
Street.
Morton.
And that I'd have to reach out to the homeowner. There's no planned visit by anyone else for that.
Wait, Pink Rose. That's the one that they scheduled for 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, that I can't do that.
Right. So reach out to Mark Romanski and tell him when your availabilities are and schedule a meeting with them.
So there is
That's
still a
Mark.
window then for that for next week, even though they obviously would like everybody to be there tomorrow.
Yes.
Well,
And still,
I mean, again, I don't feel bad about missing their site visits because they don't include us in the scheduling. So, that just means that their engineer has to meet twice.
I see.
But if you wanted to meet with the planning board, they give you a little window and it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Otherwise, we just got to just keep doing our thing, send our email, schedule our own meetings.
All right.
And
so the info then for me to reach out to the engineer is with the initial email about that one.
yes, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got 2 referral emails this month.
If I can't find that, Sabrina, I'll just ask you.
Yeah, if you want, I can actually re-email it to you right now.
Okay. All right. So I'll try to set that up for next week then.
Okay. So that we've delegated the projects that just came before us. And then Sabrina, you'll send an email out to Gretchen letting her know who's assigned what and the one that we said we don't have time to review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being I have everyone, well, almost everyone, is anyone interested in going to planning board meetings?
Yeah.
I would like to, because I think that we need to know what's going on, and they need to know that we are there.
Yeah.
It's just.
I think it's.
Can you just let? Yeah. Can you actually? Kathy invited me twice, but I just been forgetting them.
Right.
Is there a way, Sabrina, that you could just let us know the time and dates of the meetings? Because I almost forgot this one too.
Yeah.
And then email.
The schedule to anyone that is interested. It would actually be great if someone, if you have a report that's due for that meeting and you know it's due, if you emailed it to them and then knew that you were able to go to the meeting and also read it into the meeting.
But I got a mixed message, from Michael Trimble on that. He's like, yeah, they want us to go to the meeting, but keep it brief. They don't really want us to take a lot of time because their meetings are very, very long. Their meetings are very, very long, and they got 2 meetings a month, and now they want to.
So ideally, we should save whatever goodwill we may have for something that we're really opposed to.
opposed to, or
Exactly.
well, let's just say passionate about.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But, they recommend going to the meetings. Mike Trimble suggested it's a good way to learn zoning laws. I think it's just nice to see the process, although the zoning code's all online. But the one thing I suggested to Ed was, please give us the LWRP, because it's our responsibility to, review and make sure that the projects are in compliance with the LWRP. And we don't have a copy. We don't have it. I've never read it. So I can't, I review, and I just, I can see that there's not a significant impact, and I can say, okay, it shouldn't affect the LWRP, but I could never quote any section of it because I've never read it.
I thought Nancy let you borrow it.
What's that?
I thought Nancy gave you her LWRP to copy or scan in whatever you were doing with it to review.
She gave me her notes, her LWRP. There was not an LWRP there. She gave me her notes, and there's some, there's references. There's some general write-ups that reference the LWRP in sections, but I've never seen the document. I don't know I've never seen it. And we went through this earlier, that there's a link on the planning board website that says LWRP. And when you click on it, it doesn't take you to the LWRP. It takes you to the Rhinecliff Waterfront Revitalization Plan. That's for the Rhinecliff Landing. So it's just this document that we're supposed to enforce, and it's a mystery document to us and to me.
Can you get it for us, Sabrina?
I will look into it, but I am having I'm having an issue finding it. I will have to look in our filing cabinet in the basement where it would possibly be. I remember Mark mentioning it, and I mentioned it to Gretchen and John, which is in control of the website, and they said when we find a link that is appropriate to the LWRP that they will change it, but till then they are just uploading whatever's given to them.
Okay.
Well, they have the wrong document under LWRP. So, I said that, my message to Ed was, that would be a good thing for them to provide us with the document that we are supposedly responsible for ensuring is complied with. So hopefully the town board member Ed will take care of that for us. I don't know, any other issues? Anything else? Oh, Sabrina, is it possible to add a column to that log so we could actually tracking when our reports are submitted?
I can do that. I shortened it, and the only reason I shortened it was because we were having an issue printing it, because Nancy likes it printed. So what I have been doing while I'm actually on the meeting is I'm going through, and on the other column, or the comments column, I am putting down whether the report was sent in or not.
Whether it was what? Submitted?
Submitted or not.
Okay, well, can you put the date it was submitted then on that comments column? That would be fine.
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah, that's great. That way then we all can see that it was, that, how long it took us, and if we got it in before the hearing. Just kind of helps us track our success.
And Sabrina, if my contractor reschedules or there's any issue with that, then it would be 11 tomorrow.
Yes, it is 11 tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I'll do what I can.
So do what you can, but don't feel bad if you got to schedule your own meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just if you feel there's a benefit to having the other planning board members there. Edna, you've met Edna already, and I forget the other gal's name who's going to be there.
I recognize no one now that everybody has a mask on.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's
Um,
horrible.
Okay, let's see. Just some more updates. I know that Alta Engineering was brought on board for that walkway plan, the Rhinecliff road walkway plan.
Right.
But I haven't heard any of the results, so I don't know where they're at with it. But I know they're on board and they're supposedly working on that effort.
Okay.
I'm just going to mention something I was kind of surprised at. I saw an article. I saw an article in the Kingston Freeman that the town board is considering banning dogs from the or the Thompson Mazzarelli Park.
Really?
Yes, and I think that's terrible.
Yeah.
Have you seen how much dog crap there is left over there, though?
You know, it's a field. It's a farm field.
That Frost Nature Trail is littered with dog poo.
Where?
Frost Nature Trail.
Which one?
The whole length of it is full of dog poo. Every time I go there, it's.
I don't know when you're going there, but I'm there every day. I run the whole loop. And you don't see the poop? I don't.
Somebody was bitten by a dog. Somebody was bitten by a dog in the park that was off leash.
Oh,
I got it. Somebody was bitten by a dog, but I don't think that's enough reason to ban. I think that whoever was bitten, I think the dog owner should, take responsibility for that. And I'm sure a personal injury lawyer will definitely get after them on that one. But to ban, there's a lot of dog owners. Yeah. There's just a lot of people that really need a place for their dogs. And what better place is there than a hay and cornfield that's about 2 mile loop? And I don't see the poop. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
You're running too fast.
Maybe. I feel that most of the and you know what, I just feel like this is one of those issues that just that we really need right now. It's like it's a divisive issue. Now it's just pitting dog lovers against people who don't like dogs and dog poop. And I just think that it's not the right time.
Well,
really,
I'm staying out of that one.
Yeah. I think the meeting I think they're going to talk about is September 14th, I think, is the planning board meeting. Not planning board, the town board meeting for that one. So I'm just bringing that up. If anybody's has any feelings about that one, I'm gonna chime in. I'm gonna at least listen. I want to hear. I think they're gonna stir something up, and there's gonna be a lot of dog lovers that are gonna be pretty upset that they're losing their opportunity and their place to walk their animals and they get their own exercise. Anybody else? Any other issues? Any news?
The Conway School submitted their report regarding the Mazzarella Park. Speaking of it,
does the report tell them that they should ban the dogs?
No, it doesn't mention that.
Okay. Is it interesting? Did you read it?
Yeah. I do think they did an admirable job with regards to recommendations pertaining to conservation. On the design front, I thought it was very uninspired, feeble even. But as far as what they were doing, advocating for pollinators, advocating for really significant climate change resilience on that front, did a very good job. It's in theory accessible for anybody to read online. However, the last 2 times I have gone to it, it just reads error. But in theory, there are also not that anybody can go in the Star Library at the moment, but they did receive a hard copy for the library. And I'm sure that's not the only hard copy available for the public. But I think anyone who is interested in the future of the park should look at it.
And this is going to be like a stepping stone for future projects?
Yeah, it was Susie's initiative and her $10,000 grant that funded it. And they essentially see it as a blueprint should such time arrive where there is either funding via some kind of patronage and or elected officials who want to see these issues prioritized. So it's purely an advisory role, and whether or not it ever gets implemented is really up to the citizens of Rhinebeck. I guess more its wealthy citizens, and who we elect and whether or not they care. And obviously, with the current mayor's proposal to put a parking lot in on Traver Lane, it doesn't really speak much to his enthusiasm for climate change resilience on that site.
Yeah. I don't know who like controls that property.
Well, that's an interesting question, because when I got an email from Sue C thanking me for participating in the 2 sort of fact-finding Zoom meetings that the Conway students had, and a link to the report, she mentioned a so-called Mazzarella Park Committee, which was the first I'd heard of it, and I mentioned that at the subsequent Star Library Board meeting. Nobody there had any clue who they are, how many members comprise it, when they meet, and what that is about. So I emailed Sue C for a little bit more information and mentioned that, I'd like to bring this up at a library board meeting, to which I have never heard anything. So I don't know who they are, what they do, or what they don't do, but supposedly they're out there somewhere.
I mean, that's the committee that I guess Sally Mazzarelli was heading, right? That
I have no idea. I mean, when
created the plan.
Yeah, when Sally participated in those Conway School Zoom meetings, she didn't introduce herself or really provide any background for anyone new to the area who may have been participating in that meeting, as to why the park is what it is. And it's all pretty vague. I don't know. I'd like to know who those people are.
Yeah. And everything's slow to move. So the planning is the first stage.
I'm on the Buildings and Grounds Committee of the library. So you'd think that there would be some type of outreach between the Mazzarella Park people and the Buildings and Grounds Committee. But given the fact that the Star Library was not actually even invited or informed that Conway was even going to be building this report, and we had to sort of invite ourselves, that sort of tells you all you really need to know about all of the lack of communication.
Yeah.
Any other interesting things? Oh, I miss having Rachel. Rachel didn't make our meeting.
Right.
But she's usually good. She's really good. And I don't know what's happened to Nancy Richard. It's unfortunate that the veterans kind of abandoned us, but we have to. We'll carry on. We'll carry the torch as best as we can and do the best we can. And
well, I'd like to say, I think in the fall, I really think we should look aggressively for some other members, since there was talk about the committee being able to be enlarged. I think we should do so.
Well, why do we have to wait till the fall? Why? Is there a reason?
Well, I guess just because traditionally pre-COVID, nothing ever happens at the end of summer. But I don't know. It's a different world. I mean, if you want to start, we'd probably have to form some kind of, nominating committee in order to draft what our.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want a process involved, we would have to think about how do we do this outreach. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you how I did it. Right, you know what? They got me on the board, and if I hadn't reached out to you, George, and Gabby and Cole, it would just be me.
Yeah, no, well, that's why I'm saying that at this point.
There was no process. There was no process. I just said, "Hey, you guys."
No, that's why. But Mark, that's specifically why I am proposing a process, so that it doesn't have to be so ad hoc, word of mouth. If we're going to add a significant number of new members, don't you think we should do so publicly and cast as wide a net as possible?
So you think that like,
Yeah.
like somehow that can we up, is there a way to like put something or a message up on the web page, you mean,
Yeah,
or an announcement?
yeah,
that,
I think we
that's,
should get together and discuss how to word it and what would be the most appealing way to entice people to want to join, and then figure out how to get that out there.
yeah, I mean, I guess somehow I think some of these boards, they got more going on with the web pages, I guess.
Well,
We kind of have a somewhat
that
passive
that's another
web
issue.
page.
It's another issue.
But right, how we would get that out. But beyond that formal effort, if you know anybody, that works too.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You can have, you guys can, do you have a web page now?
We do, and we don't seem to have, I don't know, like how to, it's managed by John, right? And
Yeah, so yeah,
so we
but
have
I
to
have the
figure out,
username and passwords.
so we have to,
You're supposed to go through John if you want to make changes to it, and he's the gatekeeper of the website.
he's the gatekeeper. So
If you
maybe
send something to him to post on the page, he'll do it.
yeah, so that's what we probably have to do. We have to figure maybe, or like, but like post up a page. So like, we have to have it all scanned up and ready for him to just put up, because obviously, like with the LWRP, it's like if it's not there if he doesn't have something to link up to, he's not going to do it.
It's a weird site. I don't know how they connect files to it for download purposes.
Right.
It's not a WordPress site, and so I don't know how it works. It's some really old content management system that I don't understand very well.
Right. So, but I guess the first step, like you said, George, is somehow we'll write up some sort of a solicitation, a call for members. Is that what we say? We call for members.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that would be good. We will think about that for the next meeting.
Okay. Good.
All right. Anything else, or should we move to close the meeting? Adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well done. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Enjoy your time at sea.